So here on the Nlyte homepage, you can see that there is a group of icons on the primary navigation bar. And this represents the distinct modules in the Nlyte suite itself. Indeed, on the top right-hand side, you can see that we also have your standard and indeed advanced search for any material, workflow project, etc. And returning back to the data center module here, you can quickly create data center assets, for example, cabinets, servers, PDUs. You can also create your own materials. Materials in Nlyte, they act like templates for your assets. So you need to create a template first. If we look here in the floor planner module, I'm just going to quickly type in the name of the room that I want to access, in this example, the blue room. And on the following screen here, this is the data center floor. You can easily design and manage the physical layout of floors by creating cabinets, PDUs, walkways, sensors, and much more. In the edit mode up here, you can simply drag and drop multiple items like crack units or PDUs onto the data center floor. And as you can see, there are tools here on the left-hand side as well to create walls, areas, etc. So if we now look at the right-hand side, you can see that I have, for example, statistics for the total room, statistics about dimensions, total power consumption, including mean power, adjusted factor, and you can also see heat and weight thresholds of all of the assets in the blue room here. Additionally, we have overlay reports. In this example here, I'm just going to select cabinet use space reports, and you can quickly see which cabinets have, for example, reached the capacity and shouldn't hold any additional servers or blades. Now, if I go up and select the copper patch port overlay, again, you can see that the scale on the right-hand side, this will help me pinpoint which cabinets have the most, or indeed the least, copper patch port utilization. I should mention that all of these reports it's possible to export them into Excel. I can now select multiple cabinets from the location here on the floor plan and view them, for example, side by side in a row view. Or indeed, if I want to do, when I just move this over here, I can view the back of a cabinet. So we have front and rear view. On the right-hand side, I'm just going to select the IMPATH overlay report. IMPATH is modeled on a more representative power consumption figure, relative to the power rating supplied by the manufacturer. Immediately, I can identify if the power consumption here or overconsumption is a concern. In this example, it's for the chassis. And the group, in this case, the business group owner is going to be the account management team. So I can notify them. So now, on the floor plan, I can just select a specific cabinet. So in this example, it's going to be BL01. I can view the details for this cabinet, for example, the name, the asset number, the record status of it being active or operational. And under the views in general, you can see, for example, serial number, purchase date, U height, location, grid reference, and more information. On the left-hand side, again, you can see I have an option here of the mounted power strip. You'll see it displays 2 mounted power strips for this particular cabinet, 3 outlets, and power consumption. Additionally, I can view the same cabinet in the cabinet planner, where I can see the record status, heat and weight thresholds and limits. And on the bottom right-hand side, you can see the heat gauge as well as the weight gauge for the entire cabinet. If I now want to see this same cabinet in 3D view, I can just simply move it here in this display. This is a useful way, for example, to see if there were any collisions with the power strips or indeed any kind of mounted acid. So on the left-hand side, you can see that all the acids here are actually associated with this particular cabinet. And if I select this acid, you'll see it's the power strip. And further on the right-hand side, that's this acid information for this power strip. In the front view, I can select, for example, the chassis, and I can see the acid information for it again on the right-hand side. If I click on the chassis planner, you can view which of the 16 slots has a mounted blade server, or indeed a free slot, its image, status, serial number, and by clicking on the View button, it gives even more detailed information on the blade itself. You can also view the back of the chassis and see the image, view how many network modules are actually in place here. So here on the left-hand side, we also have again the same contextual views relating to this acid, including here warranty. This is of course very important because you can run a quick report across all your data center estate in advance of the end of the warranty period and take appropriate action. Looking here at the audit logs, this is possible for across all of the assets, and this is of course important because you want to see who's changed or moved an asset and by which user. Next, I'm looking at the network and power connections. So this information will give me a complete network chain and power chain indeed, which I can of course export into Excel. So once I just move back here to the cabinet planner, I'm just going to show you how I can select a server. In this case here, it's the HP server, and we can view the asset information for it. Again, you can see it's active operational on the top right-hand side, and again, the precise image which we get from the manufacturer. On the left-hand side here, you'll see that I have hosts among many options, but I'm selecting hosts. You can see I have 3 virtual hosts installed on this particular server. I can see more detailed information on a specific host. For example, here, what partition the actual host is installed on, what the function is, and what software is installed on it, and much more options here. So returning to the server tab, I will briefly show you now how we can move this server to another cabinet using Nlyte's auto allocation algorithm. You will notice as soon as I select the plan move option that this record changes to planned and moving, top right. Now if I select the auto allocation, it will help me find the most suitable destination cabinet. So here it's reminding me about the virtual hosts, which we're aware of. And now I just specified the location for my target cabinet. Following this here, you can specify additional criteria. For example, I require 4U. I don't require a KVM switch, but I am going to specify the cabinet usage here. So I'm just going to drill down, and I'm going to click search here, and the results are ranked by suitability. So for this case, it's going to be BL61. So all I need to do, complete the auto allocation, and you'll see that this server is now associated BL61, but it's still unmounted. So I have to click back into the cabinet planner, and on the top left-hand side, you can see the assets tab. Here you can see my HP server, and if I click on edit on the bottom right-hand side, I can simply drag and drop this server onto the cabinet. I should mention that you can see that it's highlighted in red, okay, so I can't place it here. It needs to be in green, indicating I have sufficient space, ensuring there are no collisions. Once I'm happy, I just click on the save. So I'm happy with the server placement here. And returning now to the same server tab, if I select on the actions up here, and here actions, and also I can view, for example, the work order associated with this particular move. You can view precise details of the active and planned cabinets, which you can print off or indeed view on a mobile device. You will notice the original location of the server and indeed its new U placement, which is U1013, which is displayed. Further below, you can see details about the network and power connections, for example, which ports and outlets to use when moving the server. And indeed, you can even see the new cabinet heat measure, which has taken into account the recently added HP server. You can see that here on the right. So once I'm happy with this, the last thing I need to do, back on the main page, I can click on Complete the Move. Okay? You can see now that it becomes active operational, and this detailed work order greatly reduces, of course, the likelihood of human error when it comes to moving our servers and indeed cabling. Finally, I'm just going to touch on the admin and bulk data management tool. Here we can quickly use the Nlyte bulk data manager with a web services connection, where you can rapidly bulk load your data, indeed your asset data and material data, into Nlyte. Now, once that data has actually been uploaded into the Nlyte system, you can simply drag and drop the cabinets or whatever asset it is onto the data center floor and design the floor as I wish. Now, so that completes my brief demo.